So, hey guys, Chauzu here, and in this video we're going to do one team for all in Kizuna. Only difference is that this is going to be against the super boss, and this is possible because in this Kizuna the super boss does not have super type, so Super Tennis Champ can use his super type against two of the bosses, and this turns them into strength, so we can actually do a quick team against two of the bosses. But since this is a one team for all, we're going to start with the only boss that we can turn into strength. The reason for this is that, well, you can turn super type enemies into strength, but you also can't turn full immunity enemies into strength. And this is the only battle with full immunity. But yeah, as we go through the video, I'll talk a bit about the team as we go along. But yeah, this is a pretty beautiful team, I'd say. The one unit you can discuss on the team is the Anniversary Sorrow. One buff we lack that we could get is increased damage taken. We could run like V2 Kaido, for example, the quick Kaido, to get 2 times increased damage taken. He's not really boosted by Uta and such, so he won't do much damage with him first. So I'm not sure if that's worth it over the much increased chain from the Sorrow. I have the Chopper here, just so I don't get any color affinity buffs when killing the enemies. I know that I've seen that other people are starting to just not kill the boss to skip that buff. I'll have to look at that when I start making my own real teams. Because even if this team is pretty good actually, I think there are better options, so to say. But yeah, it was very fun to try and see how much damage we could get against the quick one. Quick versus quick. But I think you'll be surprised by how much damage we actually do. Because we do end up getting a ton of buffs. You need to remember that the new Robin basically is Luffy Crew, in that we get an additional buff to stack. And of course we also stack that with the Usopp and Yasop delay and such. So we just end up doing tons of damage even without not really having color affinity here, since we're not hitting against type effectiveness. But yeah, I'll be hitting in this order every time. Finishing off with Uta, since Uta is a lot higher level than Robin. And yeah, as you see, this last hit is going to do a ton of damage. 14 billion with no boost and no color affinity or anything. That's pretty insane, in my book at least. And it's only going to get better from here, of course. But yeah, I predicted this before the Kizuna. I don't think that was a specifically incredible prediction, but yeah, I said we'd finally bypass 100 billion damage, and we've done that. I've heard about teams that do 200 billion. I've not seen a team. I can kind of imagine how it works. Tomorrow I'll start building my own max possible teams. We'll see what I come up with. I don't feel like that kind of team building is my specialty, so to say. But yeah, we'll see. I actually like this new format of Kizuna. I'll probably say that talk to a separate video later. But yeah, this deck Kizuna is probably the best Super Boss Kizuna so far in terms of design. So they are getting there. It's just that we still have the same trash reward as always. So despite that, it doesn't really mean much in my book. But yeah, to talk a bit more about the team, we use Uta stage 1. This means that when we get to stage 3, Uta special is fully charged. And we can use Uta's super class special to further buff that. You could use Robin as strength captain as well and Uta as sub, but Robin's superclass is not as good really, and I think Robin is lower captain as well, but it's an option to consider. Robin's final tap is slightly worse than Uta, but Robin is more boosted, so it might still be worth, I'm not sure. But yeah, need to remember to swap before using Super Tennis Shank special, so we get the full color affinity buff. On the first team, I swapped. Like on the first team, I started with quick Usopp and Yasop, and for the other two teams I'll start with Sai for more damage. Not really how you should do it in a one team for all, but it's a bit of a special case. That quick team was mostly to make the topic of the video accurate. Really, these are the two bosses you can actually abuse this against. And as you're going to see, we're going to hit crazy chains with all these buffs. Like we have the Zoro for 2 rare chain buffs, Shanks with plus 1.4 chain boost, and then we have Beckman and Lakaru for the 2.5, I think. Chain boundary might be higher. I actually don't remember it in my head. But yeah, we kill a bit too early there, but we still did crazy damage. But for this team, we're actually going to go all the way. And I actually have a crazy amount of friends with Rainbow Uta, which surprised me. I was prepared for a few, but we're talking like 4 or 5 people, which is crazy in my book. My Uta is not Rainbow, but I do have 2 separate copies. As I said, as a man occasion, Uta is a lad you should definitely keep 3 separate copies of, just for her different supports, which are always potentially useful. And then we have the fact that all 3 are potentially viable. So, okay, so this is the final team, and this is the one we're going to do the most damage, since HP scales, you know, it gets harder to kill. So in this one, we actually need a final hit to kill, so we get to see the damage. It won't be quite 100 billion, spoiler alert. Well, if it was, that would be like the topic of the video, you know, like one team for all does over 100 billion damage or something. Might be possible to get there if you like hone in on one of them, but there's not really that many changes you can do. But of course you could stack buffs from friends. This is like no buffs at all. So just having one friend should put it at 100 billion. But yeah, same special order as before. Important to note that you need to use Shanks before Zoro, otherwise you don't get all of Zoro's chain buffs. And to be more concrete, Zoro chain buffs is the chain multiplier boost, and it's the chain growth boost. I think that's probably the best name for that. And yeah, it's going to be big damage here. Yeah, almost 90 billion. Not bad at all for a one team for all. Basically the same team against 3 Kizunas. We did 14 billion max on one team, 90 billion here. The other team we didn't see, but it should be the same, like around 90 billion. Not bad at all. Let me know if you try to use it. Might be good for some people. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.